Hey, 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 my people. It's always an honor and a pleasure. However, our checkup 2019, the update, the hold it to the fire. Give me one moment while I snack on my beans and rice. One moment. And I shall pull up this other little page real quick. Something that I seen the other day that I thought was interesting. Y'all might have heard about it too, but I try not to get too carried away. And it's about this white judge. And I'm gonna talk about this white guy who had his whole family murdered, and graciously his father made it. He was supposed to live, but the father wasn't. We look for this man's photo because it's a judge. He tried to say that he said pretty much black on black crime is worse than the KKK, and I thought that was interesting, right? 1 second. But what I thought was even more uh, 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 interesting. 1 second. It's not on MSN anymore. I'm gonna look it up by Google. Judge says blacks are worse than. Okay, there we go. Tennessee judge. Right on. Now I'm gonna break down the entire situation, but first I'm gonna share the screen. Give me 1 second, please. And I'm gonna come and greet y'all in a moment. I'm just moving around, moving and grooving, so I can't, I gotta do one thing at a time. Yeah. Here we go. Come on. Let's get it. Can we play it? Hold on. Let's just go back. Stop.
Black men shooting at each other.
Pause it. Damn it. Come on.
Of seeing black men shooting at each other in this community, in this nation. I don't understand it. I grew up in a time when people wore white robes and they shot at black people. And now we see young black men wearing black hoodies shooting at black men and doing a much more effective job than the Klan ever thought about doing. I'm sick of it. Of course, the only thing I can do is shout it from here. No one seems to listen.
I just wanted y'all to hear that. Now I'm gonna break down the situation where in which the young man is talking. Stop sharing. Let's go see our people. What up, y'all? Tammy, Martin, Steve. So that same judge that you just heard say that, I hope it was loud enough. That same judge who just said that, in the article, in the MSN article, and I did a recording of it. I just didn't upload it. I may or may not do that. However, his great grandfather was a black man who gained his freedom in the 1860s. So one of those awkward paradigms where I always tell people, about black and white skin and white and black skin. And I know a lot of people look at it and, and they laugh it off, literally just laugh it off. But in true circumspect, there's a part of him that, even though I want to say he's a racist ass white dude, there's a part of him that is truly aggrieved by this on some level. What up, Roger Spice? Brother? But we're gonna pull up what this other MSN article real quick, right? And I want to tell y'all, man, this is where the world is going, okay? This shit is crazy. I'm not going to get too much into the other little situations that I might have uploaded or whatever. Where are we at? Right here. Come on. There we go. Damn. Here we are. I got to share the screen with y'all one more again. And damn. Here we go. Hide that nonsense. Don't act like that. There we are. So we're not even going to get into these pictures just yet, right? I just want to go over the story just a little bit. Texas man fights to save son convicted of deadly attack on family from execution. Now I'm just going to cover the first part of this because I've already read the article. But this is crazy. Y'all, this is going on 16 years, right? Obviously, at the end of this year would be 16 years. So last year, on December 10th, it hit the 15-year crescendo. This year, obviously, it's going on a 16-year period. But just understand this stuff. It says that in December 10, 2003, when the family was on tour, when the family of four was gunned down as they entered their home, Tricia Whitaker, a retired teacher, and her 19-year-old son, Kevin, died from their injuries. The dad, Kent, survived as their son did. Bart, I think, oh my God, he shot all four of us. Kent Whitaker told 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Sant. The investigation into the shooting revealed an intricate plot and a ruthless conspiracy to eliminate three of the four Whitaker family members. The mastermind of the plot, Bart, who hated his family and wanted their money. In 2007, he was tried and convicted of hiring a hitman to kill his family and hurt him too to cover up the crime. He was given the death penalty. I'm going to stop right there. Did y'all hear how wicked that was? Bam. Did y'all hear how wicked that was? Huh? Did you guys hear the level of nonsense that came with that? You know? Where this guy really felt like I should defend my son who essentially killed his whole family. How does that work? How do you say to the guy, trickery is, man, that's a very polite way of saying it. But yeah, I get exactly what you mean. It's very sad. But once again, I couldn't care less. Because this is a situation. Exactly, bro. But here's the thing, though. They use it as an excuse. We're using it as a weaponized speech. I want to agree with them and say, yes, they have a mental illness. But because of such, we should treat all the people who look like them as if they have a mental illness. Because these other people come from impoverished neighborhoods that produces the crime and violence. Whereas this guy lived in an affluent household, and yet he didn't want to abide by those rules. Had his father not survived, the hatred he had for his family might not have been discovered. Now, I didn't go into the article to tell y'all all that, but understand. And people are like, what does that have to do with 2019, 1619, slavery, prophecies? We'll get to that. But first, let's just talk about some of the nonsense, right? Because this week, some really crazy stuff happened, right? Where I watched people go from one end of the spectrum to the other. And I really didn't understand why it happened like this until I stood back and I said, okay, well, Demetrius, why do people normally act the way that they act in any instance? I say, well, Either they're affected by the situation or they are producing the situation. That's the only way. That's it. You can be affected once you produce, but if you are the initial producer of something negative, adverse, right, or otherwise positive, then you're technically to blame. So while trying to be as, I won't even say politically correct, I'll just say while trying to be as polite about it as I can, the situation that took place, earlier last week with the little young lady, I just kind of shake my head at the entire thing because what I didn't elaborate on the video was, why is the young lady's last name Barnes? Her daddy a Mexican with the last name Sevilla. Her mother's last name Washington. Didn't go into, why don't they have pictures of the vehicle to see how it was struck, right? Shot groupings and all those things matter. Until they exonerate the mother and everybody of doing an insurance claim, that's pretty much where I'm at in my mind. I think it stinks to high heaven and it's foul. However, I feel nothing. At first, I thought I cared, but even initially, I didn't really feel anything because most of the time, I have a hard time feeling bad for single mothers who the fathers didn't die. The fathers die, I normally will, address that situation differently. But for women who get into bad relationships with dudes and then solely blame the man and never assess their own ways of being, I feel, whatever they get is what they deserve, and then even more so, just with the insurance claim, right? I read the initial article about this stuff when it first happened, y'all, because obviously Andre sent me some stuff. When I had came into this other little piece of information, the mother has said something like all the children sat in designated spots, right? And I'm just like, well, if a person was aiming to get somebody and they had the information as to where they would be seated, but it's just one of those things, I really feel some type of way about it, but I don't feel anything about it. It's like, whatever, let her Mexican daddy handle the situation. Right on. As they say, you feel me? He got to hold his own nuts. That said, I'm moving on from that situation. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. China's getting ready to overtake Taiwan by force. By force. If this happens, right, it's going to set a precedent. Or pretty much anywhere who can't fight you off because they don't have the ability to, by the means of sustaining resources for a duration of time, I have to assume that it's going to be exactly what it is. So Taiwan about to get taken over. We'll see how those ramifications all play out. Maybe just the sheer presence of a Chinese military coming to Taiwan who are actually Chinese themselves. Maybe if they see like it's real, maybe they'll just come to their senses. Not pulling out of Syria. Powers that be have figured that that's not a very good idea. Another thing that I thought was very interesting was my roommate was reading this article about Iran and Russia trending in the Caspian Sea. And Iran is really a very dangerous military. Obviously, the Russians are very dangerous. I don't think people understand that, you don't train for these types of situations unless you feel that fighting is going to take place. So this just backs up some of my claims when I say stuff like I don't really believe in like nuclear warfare so much as it is I believe that they would use a nuke or two or maybe half a dozen around the world at, conspicuous times to pretty much set that tone. But I don't think it would be what people thought it was. Uh, it's unforeseeable. You don't train for close quarters combat if you don't think that close quarters combat is going to be the most believable and sustainable form of warfare. With that said, I also thought it was amazing this week as I hold all this prophetic stuff to the fire. When I say prophetic, I mean these people who thought who claimed to be prophets, saying that they know that this is the year. When I hear that type of talk, all I do is say to myself is, these people don't really know what they're talking about. They don't have an idea of what is healthy. This year is going to be obviously an awesome year. Everybody should look out for the rises of trash prices. The trash prices. You should look out for that. You should also. What up, brother Mike? My hitter. Everybody should be looking out on the rise of that because it hasn't happened yet. Chinese goods gonna get a little more expensive here pretty soon. Everything is about to really ramp up. Partial government shutdown obviously is gonna affect people's see sister, that's my I like that one. And Sister Tammy, see, that's the crazy part about all this kind of stuff is people don't see how much is gonna happen in just this 1 year. And the first few months might get by okay-ish, but I know that it's gonna be hectic in a little bit. I wanted to let you guys know I'm not all the way done with the research for my little White Heaven project, but I'm pretty close. And I'm gonna get back to what I'm talking about, what we're all talking about. That's a lot of $75 a month is a lot of money. Imagine if it doubled or something like that, though, because this is where they're trying to make these trash prices go at the end of the year. Just pray it doesn't. First off, stuff got me grabbing my hair, but that's the stuff I'm talking about, though, is that the China trade war killing them has a lot to do with it. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, bro? That is so crazy, dude. Is that the freaking prices of everything went up before you could even see an increment of the a pay increase. As the Mr. BGS Ibmore says, stagflation, some kind of old school term. I think it's funny. Very funny term. But it's just crazy, y'all. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. In one way, shape, or form or another. People don't realize how many jobs are contingent on the U.S. Government. The federal courthouses. The federal courthouses are about to shut down in a little bit if they don't figure something out. They're that was the thing that was in the back of my mind. Federal courthouses are going to shut down. So all these federal suits, unless you're being charged with murder or a serious crime, they're getting ready to shut down the Fed courthouses and stuff like that. So you can't even go for a real federal class action lawsuit at this point in time unless it's really serious. I'm about to tell y'all, man. I told y'all from the beginning. I told y'all the other week. They're building the wall. I was gonna make a video called "They're Building the Wall" on everything. You feel me? And just stress to you how I know for a fact that's what's about to happen. I said already, however much money they save every day by not operating the government, they claimed in one article I read the other day that they've already The government's wasted over $5 billion already, allegedly, from the shutdown. You know? Man, bro, that's how it's supposed to be, man. You feel me? It's supposed to be loving here, bro. You know, all that hate stuff, bro, people can keep, you know, wherever they want to keep it, you know, because we have to guard ourselves to the neck at almost every moment whenever we're outside of our homes, you know. So we should have the ability to be comfortable with one another. And it shouldn't be at a barber shop that if you wanted to say something, you know, that was a little spicy, that everybody's like, okay, that's what he said. And next. But just getting back to the whole $5 billion wasted. If that is the case, why wouldn't the so-called political process have allocated those funds to the wall? I want y'all to think about this for a moment. You know what I'm saying? And he's very right about that, man. You know, I love reading your little articles. I don't always get to heart them up because my phone is messed up, you know. What up, Ethan? But you know, man, it's nice. It's going down right now. It's going down right now, y'all. What else is happening right now in the world that's super duper crazy that I was reading about this week? There's all kind of Middle East nonsense, but I try not to get too caught up in all that because it's you know, that's an ugly affair. I'm not gonna talk about that. What about here in the U.S.? Let's think about some stuff that I read in the U.S. Read about the U.S. this week. Oh yeah, let me pull up these articles that Andre sent, and then I'm gonna pull up some other stuff too that my roommate sent me. You know, I love it. All these, yeah, already. I'm loving it already because I haven't even had time to really get to it. It's about to be hilarious. 1 second. This shit is crazy. Teacher fed a damn puppy to a snapping turtle, right? In the class. Can't make this up. And then and then this crazy ass white boy out here blasting him. This shit is crazy, man. Listen to this. I'm gonna pull him up and share the page, but it's absurd, man. It's absurd, you know. Fucking goes to the waterfront like to blast himself and then shoots his sister, then blasts him. It's just too much. It's too much. But I wanted to just shed of the mental fragility of the peoples right now. And this is in a state where, you know, hide that. Even the homeless get to beg for good stuff out here, which is crazy. So I wanted to read it. 1 second. Edmonds, Washington. A chaotic and tragic scene unfolded along the Edmonds waterfront midday Saturday when a man shot his sister in the torso and then took his own life. According to Edmonds Police Public Information Officer Josh McClure, officers responded about 11:45 a.m. to the parking lot of La Arnie's restaurant in the 300 block of Admiral Way. When they arrived, they found a man in his 50s with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and a woman in her 40s had also been shot in the torso. She was given life-saving measures at the scene and taken to Harbor Medical View Center in Seattle, where she's currently listed in stable condition. Now, look, y'all. That is mental fragility at its finest. And then this other one, come on. Bam. Don't play with me. Teacher who fed puppy to snapping turtle found not guilty of animal cruelty. This shit is crazy. I want y'all to understand this is what's going on, you know, in the Pacific Northwest. Preston, Idaho. An Idaho middle school teacher who fed a puppy to a snapping turtle was found not guilty of animal cruelty late Friday afternoon. I wish one of you would do this right now. I'm not going to dare nobody to do nothing crazy. Man, I'll never hear from you again. Anyway, a puppy? Do you know how white people feel about them dogs? Anyway, stop playing. He's lucky that wasn't in Washington. He might be serving life. I'm telling y'all, just one state over, he might be serving life out here. These white people do not play about them dogs. The defense attorney for Robert Crosland said in an opening statement Friday, his team is not disputing that Mr. Crosland fed a puppy to a snapping turtle, but argue we don't believe a crime was committed. Wow! Do you hear how gangster the lawyer was? He's like, look, we're not arguing that he didn't shoot him in his face, but we don't think it was what you think it was. What? Anyway, Crossland had been charged in Franklin County, Idaho, with a misdemeanor animal cruelty after local residents reported him to police for feeding a sick, dying puppy to a snapping turtle. Prosecutors David Morris said the incidents occurred in Crossland's classroom at Preston Junior High School, but after normal hours school with 4 students present. One of those students, a 14-year-old, testified Friday that he was staying after school to do makeup work following a family vacation. The teen said he played with and touched the puppy before Crossland first tried feeding it to a snake in his classroom. It was pretty cute, the teen witness said. It looked like a lab. When the snake paid no attention to the puppy in his tank, the teen said Crossland moved the puppy into the snapping turtle's tank. Another student testified he was also in the classroom when the puppy was fed to the turtle. The student said he'd never had Crossland as a science teacher, but stopped to talk by with the teacher after school and hold the animals, including 2 snakes, some lizards, and the snapping turtle. On March 7, 2018, the teen said Crossland said he had a sick puppy and asked if the teen wanted to take it home. The teen said Crossland told him he and his friends would feed the puppy to the snapping turtle and asked if they wanted to watch. He let us hold it first, the teen said about the puppy. It was small, one hand size for a person with big hands. The teen said with the Crossland then put the puppy in the snapping turtle tank. The puppy swam around before being dragged to the bottom of the tank by the snapping turtle, the teen testified, and then the puppy passed out and became unconscious. Another witness, a 7th grade student in Crossland Science, said that he held the puppy before it was put into the tank and could see the puppy's ribs. It wasn't doing the best, the boy testified about the dog's health. That's why Crossland's son, Mario, said his father fed the puppy to the turtle. If you can lose a life to help another, then why not? Mario Crossland said. Mario said his father had made a choice to let another animal gain from the death of the puppy rather than let the dog die from illness. Are you guys really hearing this right now? Are y'all hearing this? I need y'all to really understand that they're about to justify some crazy shit in the future. Right on? If they did that with a puppy, word, imagine what they'll say about a human being for the greater good of somebody else. It's real. It's crazy, man. You know, it's crazy. It's absurd. And this is one of those things where I always have to just say that it's just crazy, man. Man, damn, y'all. I don't even, it's like, if I did some shit like that, even half as crazy, you know? I don't think it's because it's a dog. I think it's because it's the stigma that the dog has with most people. And I just think it's awkward that, you know, it's exactly, Brother Mike. Proverbs 12:10 couldn't have put it in better context. It's crazy, man. It's like, dude, how'd they know that the puppy was gonna die? I mean, I've known of animals that were supposed to die, weren't supposed to make it, that turned out stronger than ever. It's like, did this guy even give the dog a chance? You know, it just sounds sick, man. So, and then you want the people to hold it before you give him up? No, man, let me go ahead and take the dog home. That's what one of the kids should have done. I'm gonna take him home and try to get him right. Go buy a nipple, some good milk for him, right? And just pad my room up with a lot of newspaper and stuff so that way it can just use the bathroom there. And then as it gets older and healthier, I'll train it. And if it passes there, I'll go and bury it. But I'm gonna do right. I can do right, you know what I'm saying, by the animal. You know what I mean? You know. And I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Hebrew heart, you're funny. I like that one. I might have to take that one. You know, I watched a little a video with Dr. Frances Welsing. Is that her name? And she was debating. I don't know if it was a debate, but and I'm glad we all feel it. And I don't mean to caveat so quickly, but she was debating with this well, her and this other brother were talking to this white dude, really, and they was just kind of getting on his helmet. It wasn't really a debate. They was really all on his helmet, right? And at one point, I could understand what the white dude was really trying to say. As racist as he is, I totally understood it, because when he was asked if they should use the same practices towards whites who have poor genetics and this, that, and the other, as far as what he called dysgenics. What up, sister? How you doing? But what they call dysgenics, right, which is not breeding or sterilizing the people who are deemed bad seed, right on. She asked if they should do the same to white people, and he was like, "Yeah, if they're messed up, pretty much, yeah, do what you have to do." And so I don't think people understand, like, when a person's that objective in their mind, to a fault, you know what I'm saying? To a fault, they will say things that make them seem as if they're totally ignorant, but they're presently available totally. That's why when he was asked that question, he didn't shy away from saying, "Yeah, get him out of here," pretty much. You know, because it's a sad thing when you have people who constantly, you know, you have a family of people who've been troublemakers, and it's like, well, why hasn't anybody exterminated that clan of people? Because apparently they're not good people. And why do people continue to mate with them and allow their children, their sons and their daughters, to mate with these people, right? Continuing this reputation of whatever negative accolades they've acquired through the generations. So I totally understand the idea and the concept. Do I agree that you should sterilize people? Of course not. If these people want to procreate, they should be allowed to procreate. There should be separation from Black people want to be all by themselves, but we should be separated from those who don't want to live righteously. You understand what I'm saying? That should be no. Why is there so much objection towards that? You know what I mean? And then people want to hold the hands of the wicked like they can save them. It's like, no, let them go. You know, let them go. And that's the problem that we're having. You know, people don't want to let it go. But the lovely doctor, you know, she said something that struck me, and I'm gonna put it in a video. I will make sure I do this. It might not be anytime soon, but it will happen. At the time she was a young lady, so you know the young version of Dr. Welsing, when she was still here, you know, rest her soul. She said that the reason why the Germans wanted to exterminate the Jews, right, was because they originated from a seed of people called Semites, who had been chased into Africa by the Romans in the ancient days and had moved into places, right, after said and such times. And she said that Hitler said that the Semites, who at the time were a dark-skinned and what she explained as a very kinky-haired people, were the Semites. Now, I thought that was very amazing that, as opposed to her calling them Africans, she distinguished that they were Semites. So the woman who spoke these words is not, the information and the knowledge was not lost onto her that there may be a discrepancy in the understanding as to what all Black people are. Okay? So this is the beauty of being able to listen to someone and once again be objective, but be attentive to what they're trying to portray to you. You see, you don't have to agree with what someone is saying to understand what they're saying. There's a big difference. You know, I seek to understand you before I disagree with you. So that way, if I disagree with you, I have understanding of what it is that I'm disagreeing with. Not, well, I disagree just to disagree. 1 second. I will type her name and we will have it in a moment. Dr. Francis. There we go. Oh, wow. They are so funny. You know me. I do the most. 1 second. There we go. Copy. Looks like I won't be doing anything like that. One moment. A learned doctor and oh my goodness, what kind of psychology work does she do? Yes. She does some kind of, I mean, obviously she studied the minds of people to be able to say that white people, that white racism was was the ultimate sickness that plagued America. I'm not going to go too much into all that, you know, because oh no, bro, it's all good because that's her complete name. You know, I copied her name from the title of the YouTube video, so there's nothing to be apologetic about. It's no big deal, bro. But really, her intent was totally pure. It was beautiful. I appreciated everything that she was saying because I understood that at the time she didn't know. Look, she was talking about genetics, even though they were just learning about genetics at that level. So she didn't really know what she was saying. She was saying what they had been told by the people. But what they had been told was that white people had recessive genetics. And that was enough for her to buy into it. You see, further down the line where we have, I won't say more understanding, but there's been splintered understanding. And my splintered understanding gives me the rise to say that I don't believe in albinism as so much as it is I believe in gene mutation. This particular gene mutation came from a specific source. The specific source that I'm speaking on, some people don't want it to be identified. But the easiest way to really narrow down who are the list of possible suspects, well, we already know that Neanderthals were not human. So they have a non-human genome. Simple enough. Okay. Well, we also know that the Cro-Magnon was not human. Right. Understand. We believe that that's us modern, but that's bullshit. So with that said, the Cro-Magnon is also another subhuman species group. Between the two, you could probably account for what are known as the Denisovan. And the Denisovan are another partially human group who were more giant than not. These are all groups that were interbreedable with humans. You understand? So when we talk about where these genetic malformities come from, we must understand the different levels of the other genetic malformities. You have to understand a person who is coarse haired versus a person who is curly hair versus a person who is flat haired, and they all have a similar skin tone, right? But maybe all three of those people don't come from the same genus class of so-called human beings. And if one of them or two of them, right, or three of them or four of them are not actually truly human beings, and there is one group of them that are actually human, then what it means is that we have bred with people who are actually not our people, number one. Number two, it's because it has been mentioned throughout times that people have been interbreedable with different species. With this said, the people that are white people and the deficiencies that they have, As Scribe said years ago, before he had the one channel taken down, and then before he chose to delete his last one, he said that the white man lacked a really, really, one second, that's what I'm looking for. Just lost my train of thought. Something just popped up. It made me freaking lose my little train of thought. Give me 1 second. White people, genetics. What was I just saying, Jeff? Oh, this guy. Anyway, their genetics, as in part, these black people who have made it with all these other people who are interbreedable. The entire problem is this, is that if you don't isolate the sources and the groups, you can't really know who you're dealing with. So this so-called albinism, if I told you that in the Bible, it came from this guy, Noah, the first albino mentioned that I know of, and it's not out of the Bible, it's out of the book of Enoch, which is from the Dead Sea Scrolls, so you can't discredit it. However, the book of Enoch explains a very pale-skinned person who would have obviously had coarse hair. Now, what's more amazing about all of this is that one has to wonder, well, how did this genetic mutation take place? Simply put, there was what we call, as they explain, and I'll go back to the protein on the white man's brain in a moment, and how they lack the ability to control themselves, as Scribe was saying. That's what I lost my train of thought on, but I'm gonna go back to this. The understanding that Noé had to have genetics that were from people that were not of the same group of his people, because you need to really get this. Albinos are more rare than they're not. I mean, they're not as common as people think they are. There's a lot of them, but there's only because there's so many people. So he would have looked very different from everyone, except for the people who were what? The fallen children, right, of heaven. So that's the whole point, is that you have a guy who looks like them, but he wasn't one of them. He wasn't as one of them. He just resembled them. So if I said that a fallen one had a child that resembled the children of earth, right? Would you then understand that some of their children were not white, were in fact black, looked like or similar to black people? Would you then understand that these same groups, as they were warned, because the Most High told them what was to come, they tried to save their children? What did they do? They burrowed them into ground. The most royal or from the strongest bloodlines of giants and all those guys, they would have been the ones who obviously were able to go into the ground first. All the other subservient groups would have followed them in. You get to the Tower of Confusion, Earth breaks up, people come out of the earth. This is all people's ascension or descension from the mountains. And the reason why they descend from the mountains is because certain mountains, you can climb you can get down into, deep ass caves into some of these mountains. So understand, as long as you're blocked off, as the water can't just pour into the area torrentially, you can control this water. In fact, you can even use some of this water to drink with and to cook with and to do things like that and to bathe your body. So it's not a total lose-lose situation. People often will overlook the fact that many histories, and I've been saying this for years, many histories talk about people coming down from the mountains. But there's almost as many histories as people coming up from caves from inside the earth. So that right there gives you rise to, once again, their genetic I won't call it a malfunction. Their genetic mutation is only present and available because there are people within their bloodlines who obviously hold these things. They are carriers of them. This is why when black people have children with people who are very light skin tone, sometimes the babies come out with light skin tone, because if you are a true Adamite, you may have partial macromolecules or micromolecules that are able to pass themselves off epigenetically, and on the off chance that an offspring born at any time from your loins or from someone else's receives one of these recessive genetics, coupled with another recessive genetic that's playing dominant to this other person, that means that there's a chance that this recessive gene will show. Suffice it to say, that doesn't mean that every single one of these people and beings are totally evil and wicked by nature. It just means that you have to gauge everyone case by case. I gauge black people case by case. It's the only way you do that. I love my people, but I love people that are more like me than not like me. And people who think and act alike are going to get along better anyway. But when you look like them, it gives you more motivation to maintain your camaraderie. These are things that people can't understand. They don't want to understand. See, it's easy for a person who's biracial to claim to be black or white or whatever race, or even both, as a lot of biracial people would do. Whatever the admixture of the races are. For a moment, exclude black people from the biracial mixture. And I mean all black people. Move them all. So they can't be a race of people who are even mixed with it. If those people mate and make children, those people look the same. Once you add the genetics of any kind of black people, be it they from Middle Earth or be it they be from the Adamite bloodline or a combination of both, these people always will have a presence that is shown in the offspring, especially if they're not able to be diluted out over time. That's why people don't like me. Right on, because I can talk about the truth. The truth isn't nice, it's objective. However, the whole point is this. People who don't have shame faces will never understand the mental illness that they suffer from. Demetrius Antoine Jones has been telling you for a long time that all black people are not the same. We can't be. It's impossible. It's literally, it's genetically impossible that all black people are the same. So with that said, it would be more conducive to want to deal with black people who are more genetically like me than not. And then the closer they are to my genetic background, the better. Right. Because even if you haven't noticed this, there's more times than not you've been places that someone who looks like you will agree with you. Even when people who look like you disagree with you, more times than not, you find agreement amongst yourselves. More times than not. It's easy for people to get outside of themselves because they don't want to see what it is that is obvious. However, let me ask you guys something about this year, 2019. If you got to December 29th of this year, and I mean nothing, absolutely nothing happened that was prophetic at all, in any way, shapes, or form, would you take it serious? Would you take that prophecy serious? How many people you think are going to lose faith? Huh? That's the question, really. How many people you think are going to give up after this year? Right? I'm vicious, y'all. I have no time for the weak. The meek are not the weak. The meek are the humble and the modest. The weak are the wicked and the evil. Only a strong person can be meek. A weak person doesn't have the ability to be humble. Their submissiveness comes from weakness, not from modesty or humility. Nothing like that. Nothing of the nature. What up, bro? Oh, thank you for popping up, because I'm going to pull up those little articles that you sent. The one about the people getting mad about the slave stuff in Hungary, and then the yellow vest over there acting up. But anyway, people have got to get real. Right. Come on, say it, Martin. Say it, man. Don't be afraid to say that type of shit, bro. Because you have to ask yourself these types of things. And be honest with yourself. How many people you think are going to lose faith, man? We're talking about the droves of them going to lose faith. Because they already are hinging their entire belief on something that there's no true documentation to. They won't say what year people who were considered strange Negroes. Do you guys remember when I read that article to you? The myth of 1619 and all that stuff? I'll have to go and look for what that article says. Exactly. But I remember when it said, like, the strange Negro, right on, that were brought here. So that means that there were already other Negroes, and those Negroes they thought were regular. Andre, thank you for showing up, because you just reminded your boy. Me and Andre were talking the other day, right? And I was watching this video of this Indian guy cooking chicken, and I'm going to get back to the losing faith because this ties in. He was black, y'all. He was black. This same dude, Andre, was like, "Yo, Meech, the reason why they called the Indians here Indians was because those Aboriginal people look just like the Indians over there in India. They were dark skinned." And I was like, damn, bro, you're hella right. Like, I'm talking about, as soon as he said it, it like clicked. Made nothing but sense. Anybody who wants to argue that with you now, tell them to sit it down. Tell them, explain the presence of Aboriginals who look like Indians. Right on. I will. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. 1 second. 1 second. The stuff that Andre sent me, I'm gonna put the links in here right now. He said, "I need that information." I'm not trying to withhold nothing, man. I just be thinking that it's funny, you know, that what is this? You know, I mean, it's all interesting things, you know. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like all the information, you know. Oh, here we go, y'all. I'm gonna share this link with you first from Pinterest. I like this one. You guys gonna like this one. That I know you ain't tripping. Huh. Check this one out first. That one is filthy. And that right there gives rise to what we're saying. Freedmen, right? The freedmen were not Negroes as you and I were, right? So the old boy's grandfather could have very well been a bearded Aboriginal dude, right? The judge I'm talking about, his great-great-great-grandfather could have very well been a bearded Aboriginal Indian and breeded his way into white people. Once again, all those slaves were, if you socialize somebody somewhere, no matter what their ethnicity is, no matter what their nationality is, they're going to understand that social environment and they're going to act accordingly. So a black man who would have realized that if I have white-skinned children or lighter-skinned children, they're going to get treated better, and bred his whole bloodline out because he was afraid of how white people may have treated him or treated his family, or terrified because white people were doing crazy stuff back then, y'all. You know, before they were documenting what the KKK was doing, they were already treating black people wrong, you know. But they just weren't so bold about it all the time, because until the Jim Crow laws came into effect, they really didn't nut up. But just back to all the other stuff. Christopher Columbus had probably knew what Indians from India looked like, and they were black. Can you dig it? You feel me? And they were black, right? And so what happened was they were like, these are the same people, you know? These are the same people. You dig it? And that's an important concept to really understand, because sometimes if that gets lost on you, then it's like, well, no, he said they were Indians because, you know, those Indians and these Indians. And I was like, well, no, look, you've seen those dark-skinned people in India who are darker than me, obviously. And you've seen pictures that I've shown of people who were here who were Aboriginal. They look very similar by comparison. So it would have been easy to just to call them what you already know these people to be to you. That's the easiest thing to do. Give me 1 second because I'm looking for these articles from one Andre Wickham. There we go. Bam. Come on. Copy link address. 1 second. And see, as interesting as it is, it's insulting that they don't ever stress this. They never stress this, you know. And I can't stress it enough. All these people who are like, I'm an Israelite, some of these people are these people I'm talking about right now. And they hang out with other black people who really might be the true Israelite people. And they make them discouraged because their faith, they're not operating on the same type of faith. You understand? But this guy has a nice car. It's a nice house. Women love him. All that kind of stuff, right? And then they're like, well, why can't that be me? And he's like, well, all you got to do is this, this, and this, bro. And it's like some of the things they're being asked to do, they're not comfortable with, because in their mind, that's like, well, that's kind of selling out. And he's like, it's not really selling out, bro, because that's the way the world is. You see? So you have these different groups of people who are amongst each other, who are, you know, contending different ideals, where one who, like the Most High said, the stranger within you shall get high above you. So you really can't, what's the word I'm looking for? You really can't say that all these people who are famous athletes and this, that, and the other are really even Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Because some of them could be some of them could be people who were sent here as slaves as well, right? But it doesn't mean that they're Israelites. They could easily be an Assyrian. It could be an Edomite. They could be a whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. I just think it's a very interesting thing that people sometimes will, I'm not going to say willingly overlook, but it's easy for them to just pass up because it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't. It doesn't matter to anybody. You know, it matters to us, you know, but once again, we're talking about this year, though. We're talking about how all these things affect this year. Well, they affect how people look at stuff. It affects how people understand things. If I'm telling you that this guy comes from a different genus class, what makes you think he thinks like me? He can't. He was socialized like me. So that's what gives us a similar aura, but we're not the same people. And people need to respect this. They need to really grasp, they need to put their minds on that. They need to put their thinking caps on, right? And they need to really think on that for a moment. Follow me. There's white boys that aren't black, that you can say that they're trying to act black, but they were raised and socialized in those environments to be like that. So he acts the way that he was socialized, right? The way that he was programmed. I know, sister, it's the saddest thing in the world. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen, you know? And then they blame white people for the reason why we all don't look the same now. And I'm just like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, you know? There's people who have mixed children that almost look black sometimes. And that makes me wonder, well, how white is this person really? Or how, whatever is this person really, you know? I've been stressing for a long time. The Y DNA of the maternal material that all black people carry who are top earthers is the same as many different Y DNA of the maternal fraternal groups of certain Middle Earth people. I've been saying this now for a while. You know, I've been saying that the wives of Shem, Ham, and Japheth were from the first bloodline of people. So they're different. You understand? They're not, their wives aren't Adamites. Their wives are whoever the first people were. You see what I'm saying? So there's you have genetic compatibility just based on that alone. But then you also have a situation where now the people look so similar, sometimes facially, right? They don't have to have kinky hair because they can look just like you in the face. Right. So they go, oh, that's a black person. That's a black person. Not realizing, no, you guys share certain common ancestors. Right. Ultimately, the Most High God saved his first creation through his Adam man creation by allowing the Adam man through the men. So understand that this is why men are the determinant factor in who produces the baby and overall what the baby is. A man's body produces the genetics to make a child a female or a male, not a woman's. A woman can only produce genetics that create females. So when people don't take this into consideration, right, they're overlooking the fact that what I just said about the Y DNA of the maternal fraternal factors. The mother's father is important because if the mother's father is a bearded man and her mother's father is a bearded person, then by a chance, if she was a man, she would be bearded because both of her parents genetically have similar a constitution that support that phenotype. But if she has one parent, and let's just say it's her father, is completely non-bearded, completely, virtually no facial hair, and then her mother's people are bearded, right? Her mother's father is a bearded man. You could argue that this person would be semi-bearded, likely, much more likely facial haired than another person who has two parents with beard constitution. It's just how it goes. Nobody's going to tell me that those genes are picked and selected. Nobody's going to tell me that they've known brothers who have the same mother and same fathers and don't grow up to look the same as far as how their constitution goes. One person might grow a beard like their mother's people, and one person might grow a beard like their father's people, but they both still grow beards. And it matches the uniformity of a certain genetic formation. So when people don't even look at these things, right, and they overreach, right, they overreach and they overreach some more, it's easy for black people to say that, well, we're all the same, and that the white man bred with us, so that's why some of us don't have beards, and that's why some of us do. But it's like, well, how do you explain pictures from thousands of years ago before the presence of a white man was ever even calculated in these places, and they're black bearded people? Right. And they don't have woolly curly hair, they have straight hair. So when they say these types of things, they really don't even understand what they're talking about. Furthermore, the idea that Elijah Muhammad, through that dirty white bastard Fard Muhammad, could come here to America, tell the people that their hair got like this because they went into the jungle and it curled up and it never became, and it became so unkempt that it stayed like that. It's freaking nonsense. As Andre said, what about the people who live in the Amazon and all these other jungle climates who don't have that type of hair now? And if for some odd reason it's not manifesting. Evolution, genetic evolution is bullshit. There is only homozygosity, heterozygosity. One of the tenets that Muslims, oh, you didn't know this? The Nation of Islam dudes? The Nation of Islam dudes believe that black people got curly, kinky hair because they went into the jungles with Professor Yaqub, and that's what happened. This is what they believe, y'all. However, that's why I don't even, it's like I don't even have to, there's no argument with a person like that because I can show them pictures of people who have coarse hair with no beards. And then I can show them people of coarse hair with beards. So they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. I just look at them and say, okay, bro, clearly you've been drinking this American Kool-Aid so long that you're drunk. You know what I'm saying? That you're drunk. Exactly, bro. Foolish. I can't stress to y'all, man, enough. There's too much. There's too much viable information. But this is why I contend that the black people who say that we're all the same and look like Meech are the same unlearned black people who've been saying the craziest stuff. Right? I know Fard Muhammad's not even black, but you have to realize though, he claimed he was black, and black people believed him. Wow. But is that because we were born in a country where they had slaves who were half white, half black, who favored Fard Muhammad and looks sometimes? Because there's those pictures I showed you with the old posters where the runaway slaves were half white, half black by whomever, and they could pass for a white person. So we have to realize that Fard Muhammad came here already knowing the social structure of America, and he used it to his benefit, not to his disbenefit. So this is why, I go so in about Fard Muhammad is Farrakhan's father. You know what I'm saying? Lewis Walcott is the son of Wally D. Ford or Wally D. Muhammad or all that stuff, right? Or Wally Fard Muhammad. Yes, that is Farrakhan's daddy. The same dude who told black people that their hair got like that from going into the jungles. That's his father. Right on. Now, I don't know if Farrakhan's mother was actually just sleeping around with the guy, or if the black man that came from the islands with his mother was okay with it, was actually condoned old boy doing that. You have no idea. And maybe his mother trying to abort him 3 times, like he claims, is a load of shit. However, we'll never know. With that said, there's so many different little things to just jump on, right? And Farrakhan's all over the place still. So if I talk about him until he dies, he's relevant. I couldn't care less what he says about gutter Jews and their gutter religion. I couldn't give a damn. This dude said with his 2 dirty ass demon devil lips that he does not believe in a spirit or a spook of the Most High God. How can you take a man like him serious? He's not your people. And people want to say that he's a black leader. And black men continue to perpetuate this idea that Farrakhan is a leader in the black society. He's not one of y'all. Don't say that. Listen, if he doesn't promote black people all the way, he can't be you. Okay? I know dudes who aren't even, there's no black in their blood that promote black people. Okay? Right? As kings and queens and this and that. And they believe it more than other black people do. They believe it. Because they've seen the information that validates it. But what they're watching, what they're seeing with their 2 eyes are a broken people. Wow, they're so broken that they can't even accept that their ancestors were the chosen people of the creator of everything. They're that broken. They're so broken that they don't even think that they could be that special. They think they're special enough to be kings and queens, but not special enough to be the chosen people. Now, ain't that something to chew on for a moment? Black people, I tell you all the time, I'm not afraid to say what it is that needs to be said. Not afraid to take on a tidal wave. You can only lose. You can only lose. But if you tie, you know what I'm saying? And if somehow you catch the W, oh, you're epic. With the tie or the W. The L, people expect that to come anyway. But black people won't even accept that. In order for them to get out of the sick mentality that they've been ingrained with in this land for so long, because it's a sick mentality. The only way to do that is for them to buck the system. Yes, I said it. You're going to have to buck the system. How else are you going to stand up for yourself? How else are you going to say, hey, you know what? I understand this process, but this process is unjust. This process is incomplete, and it overlooks too many vital areas of detail that should be considered. However, because we're at this junction where black people feel as if we finally made it. We might really, they're like, people are talking about, dudes are talking like, they think that white people are just going to go down not swinging. Okay? These dudes are going to go down swinging, dog. Before America goes down, they're going to go down swinging. And black people don't want to admit that they have too long been in this system. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to say that. They rather say that this is my country too. This is my land too. My people fought and died for this place. They'd rather say that than say, you know what? Fuck it. I'll break even and leave. How about that? I'll break even and leave. You guys keep everything that we built for you. Keep all the inventions. Keep all the patents. Matter of fact, take all the credit. You guys did everything. You taught us how to read right. You taught us how to do all that, even though you didn't. You taught us how to build buildings when we first got here, even though you didn't. You taught us everything. Okay, now let us go. Thank you. See what I'm saying? And put us somewhere undesirable. Put us in the most garbage land you can find. It doesn't have to be good. Don't worry. We're black people. We got this. We got this. We are going to make lemonade out of lemon seeds, baby. Okay? Don't worry. We got this. So when people say stuff like, your people fought, died, put their lives on the line for this country, fall the fuck back. Fall back a couple steps there, Junior, because you forgot that they were doing that so that way they could be seen as men and not as 60% human and 40% beast. Right. You forget that. So once again, don't forget that in 2019, while you're prophecy checking, right on, make sure that you check on everything else. Check on everything else. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong about genetics. Prove me wrong that the guy who's the founder of genetics was not an Augustinian monk. Prove me wrong that somehow the word Genesis and gene aren't related. Prove me wrong. I'm waiting for it. I had a little video ready, y'all. I'm never going to upload it because it'll just make certain people just hate me. You know what I mean? But it's called They Don't Want the Fade. All right? And these cats out here don't want the fade. All right? They don't. They don't want that funk. They don't want that smoke. They don't want nothing. These are the same dudes who were talking about you got to stand up for yourself. But at the same time, they'd be like, oh, see, that black guy got killed because he was acting dumb with the police. So was he acting dumb or was he protecting his manhood and his integrity as a man, his dignity as a man? Which is it? Oh, his outburst was simply him being unruly, huh? It's amazing. It's amazing what people will tell themselves in their minds. Totally unforgivable. Unforgivable. And that right there, my friends, is why we don't have anything. That's why we have nothing. See what I'm saying? That is why we have nothing. Because of that type of mentality right there. You can't say, oh, you have to stand on something, and then, well, when it comes time to, they don't stand on anything, because in the crucial moments where it takes you to say, you know what, these people are wrong, because ultimately they have the power to wield a greater authority, right, through a means of violence, and expedite that, just like that. So when you have that type of dynamic and that type of situation, those people should always be held to the highest regard and to the highest levels of accountability. But they're not. 5 dirty ass, crooked ass, as they would call them, race soldiers. Even though the dude didn't kill a black guy, they killed a islander dude. 5 white cops, right on. You feel me? 5 white cops blasted dude, right? Now, a lot of people who would hear about the situation would say, well, he shouldn't have been resisting arrest, and they didn't have to shoot him. You hear the cop yell in the video, "You're about to get shot." What? But these same types of black people would have, if that was a black man, they would say that somehow, some way, shape, or form, he deserves that. And you're right, sister, we have a bunch of cowards in our midst, because somehow Eric Garner's a victim, right? He's a victim. But people are really in a toss-up over Trayvon Martin. They're like, well, he was kind of a hood nigga. He was kind of, out there living that life. It's like, did that give this dude the right to follow him and kill him? You see what I'm saying? So it's like people have to, we have so many, there's so many cowardice people around us, right? No offense. You know, every once in a while I go and listen to you know, Tommy Sotomayor, Tommy the black man with the damn Filipino last name. I like that part though. I always thought that was funny. But that guy, you know, every once in a while, he'll show that he actually cares about black people. But then all the rest of the time, he does this crazy ass shit where he dances on a fine line of, you know, accusing black people for all of their own problems, you know. So, 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 but that's the thing though, because they find a way to justify all the things that they do, sister. It makes it easy for a person like Tommy, right? Who does believe that black people should be able, right, right. You see, right. Understand my point. Understand my point though. Because bro has the mentality where he doesn't want to see his people suffer. But there are people who live amongst us who do acts of violence, random acts of violence for no reason. They're psychopaths in the black community. And some black woman gave birth to that person. And she doesn't have the heart or the willingness to give up on them and say, you know what, I need to let the world go ahead and devour them and cannibalize them and then redistribute all their energy back out because they've taken so much. However, because this doesn't happen, it gives rise to how a guy like Tommy Sotomayor would say things, would say the things that he says. That guy, Anthony Brian Logan, that guy, you know what I mean? Brandon Tatum. If you've never listened to these guys, I saw these dudes on other people's channels, like O'Shea and a couple other people. And then I went and just listened to what these guys say. And it's like, these are people who they're broken. They don't even realize how broken they are. Okay? They're so broken that it's like they believe that if I just go along to get along just long enough, maybe black people will finally get power. And then I can say, oh, I was with y'all all along. Because that's the game that they're playing. You see what I'm saying? Well, I'm still black, even though none of my children are really, truly black. Well, I'm still black, even though I often blame black people for a lot of their own problems, even though I may have been birthed in favorable circumstances or a unique opportunity was presented, right, that changed the course of my life. Right. Because they lack the cognitive abilities to say, you know what? There are a lot of brothers that are very intelligent in impoverished neighborhoods, but they never get to go anywhere because you still have to pay bills. You still have to pay rent. You still go through your biological processes of life. So people become aroused. They have sex. They have babies. And then now they have the responsibility and the burden of raising the child in an environment that didn't even give them the suitable resources and material to thrive and make it. This is what we're going through. And these same people will sidestep and step back and put on binoculars just so they can look at you up close while they're right here with you to say, oh, there's a piece of dead skin on your forehead, right? Some dumb shit like that. Like, oh, well, that's why the sun doesn't shine on you, because you let that little piece of dead skin right there. You know, if that hadn't been there, the sun would have touched you. It's like, bro, that has nothing to do with it. This guy pushed me out of the way, and I fell into this damn shadow, and now that's my fault. See what I'm saying? They blame everything but the actual perpetrators and culprits. These same dudes will say big business is corrupt, but yet will argue that black people shouldn't act a certain way when they go and give their money to these big businesses. The same way that certain white people act, but it's not publicized. See, man, that's why on my other channel, I call it Age Air 'em Out, because I love it. I love airing people out. I love airing out other little things. One of my biggest issues is just, it's not that I don't know when to quit. It's just that I might not stop when I had already pretty much drove it home. So it's like sometimes I have to like try to reel myself back in, you know, and that's what, you know, airing them out is for, because they're much shorter segments. They give me less time, you know, to get off script. But with everything I'm saying right now, I mean, this is the stuff that I see that I can totally say facts, you know, facts, as these dudes like to say, even though I would rather it be true. I'd rather have truth than the facts, because the facts change. The facts were that the guy who killed Jasmine Barnes was white, all of a sudden turned into 2 black people. So when that kind of, you see what I'm saying? Facts. And those are facts that I just told you. You dig it? So when you have that type of situation, that sort of dynamic, what am I supposed to believe? They blame these people blame black people for all of their own problems every time, all the time. All the time. They use situations like with these 2 young black dudes and the situation with the young lady and her now deceased daughter, right? Miss Washington is going to have to explain herself. There's going to be an investigation, but people have to explain themselves. See what I'm saying? Did you really see a white man, or did you see these 2 black people? Right. She said the windows aren't tinted. Listen, y'all, I read the article. When I read stuff and it bothers me, I remember. She said the windows aren't tinted. Her children all sit in designated areas within the vehicle. So you're telling me that somebody either totally had a complete case of mistaken identity, these 2 black dudes who say that they only fired on the car because they thought it was somebody else, mind you, or a white guy hit a U-turn out of nowhere and just started shooting. I mean, once again, what am I supposed to believe, y'all? Right. So when you hear all these different things, I mean, those 2 situations are so different in nature. They're totally different. And the one where the dude says, he did whatever, like we pulled up and just blasted on him. Listen, yo, you're talking about people about to kill somebody. I want you to understand. Your boy has been places, done things, okay? When you're about to do harm to somebody, whether you're about to just do bodily harm to them or you're really going to kill them, right? You have to know that this is who it is. No serious real hitter would have done that, okay? No real hitter would have done that. Nope. Amateurs don't even do shit like that. Listen to me. Amateurs don't even do shit like that. Amateurs get caught up on the fine details all too often. Professionals just do their job because they know what's expected of them. However, if this was a so-called retaliatory hit or a case of mistaken identity, why weren't these facts explained in the article? See, it's all bullshit. And then it's even more bullshit because the guy, Larry Woodruff, accused the other guy, Eric Black Jr., of being the shooter. But Eric Black Jr. didn't confess himself. This is the kind of stuff that you guys have to understand, y'all. Right on? The situation has too much fuckery involved in it. Way too much. But as this year goes on, we're only going to hear about even crazier and crazier instances. It's only going to get crazy. I'm telling y'all, it's only going to get crazier. Okay? They're reducing people's EBT. So there's going to be even more people shopping at dollar stores, even less money spent at the grocery stores. Facts. What does that have to do with? Corporate greed and all the stuff I've been talking about. I'm going to tell y'all, man, I really do pay very close attention to things. So close attention that sometimes I have to step back and be like, okay, what's really going on? Because I can only see what's right in front of me. Then I will separate myself from that situation and I will see and I'll be like, oh, wow, this is huge. This is huge. Don't worry, the price of goods and everything are only going to continue to go up and go up and go up. And they're playing chess all over the world right now. That's another reason why they arrested the little ZTE chick. Because they're trying to gain leverage with China, but you're not going to get no leverage like that. Anyway, the Chinese have, I don't know how many proverbs. And some of them are full of wisdom and virtue, and some of them are almost childish and asinine. But the point is this. When you have a group who has the ability to overnight change the prices of the goods, right? Via we're going to move from one production place to another, or we're going to increase the pay to our workers from this to this, right? And then we're going to just charge them. I mean, China could easily do that. What if China was like, you know what, we're just going to pay all these cheap factory workers more money, and then raise the prices on the products. People are like, these are American companies who are working within Chinese governments who can put the leverage on them to raise the wage. Otherwise, they can force them out. Right. Man, I don't even think people even understand how complicated the situation really is. You know, when you've let your country get bought up by a whole another country, right? You've allowed for their people to come here, and for nations that are similar to them and share a like pedigree to come here and amass great wealth underneath your nose, telling yourself we'll never lose our supremacy, we'll never lose our hegemony, as I like to say, then it's what they get. Right on. They really didn't see it coming. I'm not sure white people seen it coming, you know. But now the Chinese are about to full blown fuck them up in the next year or two. Economically, they're going to destroy the Americans. They could break this country. The only thing, once again, is that, like my boy was telling me, my roommate, he said that Russia is going to start helping out with China with like soybeans and stuff like that. And I already know why. Because they have to taper off how dependent they are upon American food. Right. You can only be so ungrateful when these people still feed a large majority of your citizens. You can only act like you're so ungrateful. You can only act like you hold the power of purchase, which to the white man is greater than the power of the stomach or the power of the palate. See, if the white man thought more traditionally and more Eastern-like, he would understand that the power of palate is much more stronger than the power of purse. He would know this every day of the week. Gold does not grow trees. Silver doesn't grow trees. Neither does copper. He would know this. He would know this. However, that's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty of it all, is because they're only worried about the dollar bill, that they don't realize that you're feeding the same people who are slowly still gaining foothold on you. And the only people that you seem to be worried about are the only group of people who don't have enough momentum under their feet to even change their given situation on any given day. That's crazy. I mean, like, when I say like that's crazy, like that's amazing. You would think that these cops would be blasting rich Asians left and right. You know what I mean? You would think that they'd be killing rich Arabs left and right, smoking all kinds of Pedros and Guadalupes. You would think, but nope. The more poor the black man is, it's almost like the better, right? Because they don't want to kill a black person that's got too much money, because they don't want to kill the wrong one. Where if they won't come after us legally, they'll come after us the other way. You see what I'm saying? But they kill poor black people who have poor black family members who don't have the ability to muster up the resources to retaliate in any way, shape, or form. This is why. See, the Asians, the Hispanics, and other groups have enough resources to retaliate, but they're not afraid of their retaliation. You know why? Because the white man tells himself as a secret comforter, we got military bases in all their countries or somewhere close. Sure do. You're sure right about that. You're right about that. You're right about that. We got stuff all over this place. You're right about that. Right on, white boy. But these same people that you think that you got a leg up over are coming over here and taking your valuable resources, sending them home, right? Or worse, making you abscond your own resources by trying to compete in things that you have no business competing in. I love it. Y'all got to watch this year, how it develops. Y'all got to watch how people act, okay? The more we get into the year, the more crazy shit gets, the more you need to retract from certain people, because if you are already thinking somebody's suspect, questionable or whatever, unless they show you in like defining moments that I'm still dependable or I am dependable, right on, then you need to get away from them. You know, you can't depend on people who don't have your back. Word. My roommate was going to call and make a complaint to the police, but the white cops called my black cousin and threatened to do something illegal, and my cousin didn't have the mind to make a complaint. No, but thinks because he owns a business that he's doing just fine. It's like that's the mentality that black people have. Right on? They suffer from a mental illness on a level that I can't even. I mean, I could put it in words if I tried, but it wouldn't do it any justice. You know, they're sick. Black people are sick. You know, and I'm never going to stop saying that. I'm never going to stop saying that. I'm going to always, you know, ride that horse because it's frustrating to have a group of people who probably realistically could be doing a lot better. And I'm not saying that they choose to do bad, but it's like every time they're in it, they put themselves out of it. You know, every time black people get in the race, they put themselves out, you know. And so, you know, I just don't, you know, I just don't like it, you know. I got a question. And Andre Wickham made a very excellent point when he said this. He said, man, the whole thing with this young lady seemed real fishy. He said, why did they even do an interview? He's like, why was this lady even willing to do an interview in a hospital bed, you know, grieving her child, you know, asking this guy to come forward pretty much, like, you know, turn himself in. It's like, man, the whole situation is crazy. And then what's more about all the whole situation, y'all, the dude, Eric Black Jr., right? He got snitched on by the one dude, Larry Woodruff or whatever, right? But the problem isn't him snitching on dude or a false confession or confession under duress, whatever. The issue is this, is that they said that they had this dude was a suspect in another murder, right on? That he was already a suspect in a murder. Why was this dude on the streets? I want y'all to really understand that. If they think you killed somebody and you're still running around free, fucking kind of sense does that make? You got to have a living address somewhere. You go somewhere. There's a known place of residence somewhere, right on. People don't understand, man. This situation is crazy. Situation is crazy. Look for more of these people to get their comeuppance in the ways and where in which they never even saw it coming. I don't feel bad for people who ask for the cold ice of the white man, right on, and find out that that wasn't ice, that was glass and glass, right? He made you think he was drinking cold water, and you've already exchanged your glass for his, and he's drinking real cold water now. You're drinking bullshit, right? Just fucking straight up tap, and you just gave this guy, you know, freshly boiled, you know, boiled clean ice cubes and all that, everything clean about this water. Tastes delicious. That's the mentality. These people don't get it. Okay, they're gonna always think that the other side of the fence is a better side to be on. Let them stand on that side. Don't defend them. You're not their ally. And don't make excuses for them. And don't excuse yourself to do something foolish as stand up for one who doesn't understand what it is that they're doing. Nobody felt bad for Stephon Clark. Ultimately, a bunch of black people said that he deserved it because he was a swirler. But this chick was a swirler. I don't even hear anywhere close to that sentiment. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. Nothing. And they can say whatever the fuck they want to say about this dude's online post. The choice of life is the same. So I hate how people try to discern things and they always want to split hairs. I don't split hairs, people. I don't do that. We're going to cut the hairs off. We're not splitting them. That's it. We'll cut them and shave them down, but we're not splitting them. That's bullshit. And you won't be getting any of that from me this year. You know, I'm gonna try to make sure that each one of these updates is stuff that's just like this, things that are relevant that you guys are probably thinking about or talking about. And then obviously, you know, bouncing between just trying to just pan it out how like these are the same people. A lot of these are the same people who are believing that this is our 400-year mark. It's like, why are they asking white people for anything? Why, once again, do they believe or don't they believe? Y'all need to really get this into your heads and look at them. Do they or don't they believe? Why are they asking these people for anything? It doesn't make sense. If you believe, then ask the Most High to come and save you. Don't say, "Oh God, come get me," and then 20 minutes later you go outside and now you got a damn picket sign in your hand talking about no justice, no peace. Because he sees that, he figures, well, oh, you think you still got it. As long as you think you got it, black man and black woman, it's never going to change. Never going to change. Ever. As long as you think you got it, it's not going to change. I promise. It's not. How many black people do you think, bro, you don't think Philando Castile didn't think that, oh, I got this? I don't know what they're expecting, sister. I think they want these white people to hug them and be like, you're really a human being to me now. Right on? I think that's what they want. I think they want a hug from their white counterparts, telling them that they're really humans. Right on? Even though the white counterparts ain't really human. Wow. So, however, a lot of people want to get mad at me. Say, oh, that's bullshit, Meech. God made everybody different. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's no indication that the first people were created with any kind of genetic diversity. There's no indications that the genetic diversity between Adam and the first man were so great that there were visual differences in the offspring. Okay? So what they're expecting from praying to the Most High diligently and then going out there and picket signing and protesting, they've got this by any means necessary mentality, right? But they don't realize you're not going to get it like that. Okay? You can't force the hand of the Most High. Don't tempt him. It always says, man, look. It always says in so many different words, you know, do not tempt the Lord, right? Don't tempt the Most High. You're not supposed to tempt him. And that's what these people are trying to do. They're doing their best to tempt him. And these people holding picket signs, they're going to get what they want. I don't know what they really are like seeking. I can't say what it is that they believe they're going to find at the end of all this. But I do know that they will eventually realize that all the energy wasted and holding signs and marching and crying for people that they never met, they could have used that same. That's right. They want acceptance. But they could have used that same energy for attempting to get the Most High to just move his feet a little bit, act like he's going to get off the throne, just to send a ripple through the energy waves, so that way these damn devils on this earth understand I'm about to get up and I'm about to do the thing. I'm about to put on my armor. I'll be down there in a little bit, and we're going to see who's really the one. But that's never happened because these black people, once again, they think that they got it so good, right? And then it goes back to we're all not the same people. So the people who need to be asking the Most High aren't asking him. The people who, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but I mean, from what I gather, it takes the people that the Most High wants to get him to do it. He wants them to do it. He wants those people to do it. I don't want people who are going to willingly, who willingly gave in. He's like, I want the tough cookie. Yep, come on. That's the one he wants. His people are always going to be people who have gone through trials and tribulations. A person who has never been through adversity can't help other people when they're going through adversity. They don't even know what it looks like. They couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you. You know, I don't know if it's just acceptance or money or the sickness. I couldn't tell you, but those three things, all powerful, and they're all tied together. See, they want the acceptance so they can get the money, but they want the money because they're sick. Woo! Come on. Come on. Because they, as they can see, money won't buy them acceptance. So they want legitimate, love me, white man, love me, white woman, love me, little white child. Right. That's what they want. That's what they want. They're sick. They're sick. They're out of their minds. And when you see them acting like that and pandering for their white counterparts, say nothing, feel nothing. That's it, sister. That is it. That is it. I'm trying to tell y'all, they can't buy it. So they're wanting legitimate acceptance. That's all they want. It's all these black people. That's all they want. I'm telling you. That's all they want. That's all they want. There's people who have said these things, but they don't stress these things. And I'm going to stress it because it needs to be stressed. While I got a little wind left in my lungs before I call it a good afternoon for y'all, so that way y'all can enjoy the rest of your days and whatnot. But I just find it amazing. I find it amazing. They want to be hugged and kissed and copulated with and have children with these people. And they want the whole world to just turn yellow. They want everybody to forget about slavery. Everybody just hold hands. Let's get along, right? They really just want to, these black people really just want to kumbaya this shit out. I promise you they do. They're sick. And the ones of us who they call sick, that's right. They need the likes. That's why when you go to their live streams, they be like, get the likes up. Because, you know, they be having like 900 niggas watching and shit, like way more than I ever will. But they be like, get the likes up. Hit the like button. You can donate a like. A like is free. They, man, begging for it, right? Like a damn dog wanting a biscuit. You be like, man, what is wrong with you? But I understand that they're mentally ill. So my illness, once again, comes from trying to help them. That's why I'm sick. I'm more sick than them. You see what I'm saying? That's right. We are all one type mentality. That's exactly how they think. But once again, I'm worse than they are because I'm still steadily trying to throw these motherfuckers a buoy. Still, I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm still trying to throw these motherfuckers a buoy. Still. And it hit them in the head. And I'm like, just grab it. And then the boat keep moving. And I'm like, man, turn the boat around. And but pretty soon, man, the tide's going to get too high. We're going to have to get the fuck up out of here. All right? And then when they die and go to whatever realm they think they're going to, talking about, why didn't you send help for me? Man, dog, you were supposed to have got up out of there. When the dude that you said you didn't like, because you thought he was a low-down, dusty nigga, him. The dude in the homemade boat, you were supposed to get in that boat. It wasn't going to sink. It wasn't going to sink. But that's the kind of, see, black people are so dumb that during a natural disaster, they'll wait for a white person to save them as opposed to taking help from a black person. Listen, y'all, I know this for a fact. Unless they're just in dire straits, there's black people out there who are just like that. They don't want nothing from black people. Nothing. They think anything black people have to offer is janky, low down, low rent, not worth it. They'd rather die than have your black ass help them. Have my black ass help them. And this is word is bond. I couldn't fake this shit. I couldn't make it up. When all the you know, we can hold hands and be friends, people are out of here. When all the There is no Most High God, and a lot of them are the same people are out of here. When the Hotep dudes are up out of here, right on. Because a lot of them are on that same shit where they toe the line of being, you know, I'm black first, but you know, white people ain't that bad. I mean, come on, man, they ain't that bad. They ain't that bad. Only 98% of them fucked up, but shit, you know, that 2%, man, shit, man, that's a powerful 2. So because you have people who are that sick, who are that stupid, I should say, stupid, because it ain't sick, it's stupid. Then you have to deal with the consequences, my friends. I have to deal with the consequences of their ill-informed decisions. They hate us, but they hate you more. Want to know why? Because if you utter something that I've said, oh, so please say it your way, because I don't want them to think that you're in any way, shape, or form brainwashed or under the influence of Demetrius Antoine Jones, because you're not. You guys are all grown-ass people. I just had to throw that out there. But they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you. They're going to hate you. Especially if you guys go around here dealing in any kind of other YouTube platforms with black YouTubers talking like this, they're going to hate you. Because not only am I saying that we need to separate, but I'm saying that we need to separate from the black people that aren't our people. So I'm talking about 2 different levels of separation where they only have one in mind. And really, they don't mind cooperating with other people. They don't think that they can thrive in a nation all by themselves without it. You don't have to do business with other people. No, you actually don't. Once again, that's a sickness that they learned from white people. These white people were isolationists at first, okay? And they wish to God they could kick everybody out, keep the niggers, turn them back into slaves, and make everything go back to the way it used to be. Not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking happen. But that's what they want to do. Build a wall so your black ass can't get out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Build a wall so your black ass can't get out. It'll be just like the old days where you got to go north looking for freedom. Come on. It'll be just like the old days, y'all. People better start understanding. We're here, not there. We're here, not there. While I got a couple more minutes left, I just want to stress to everybody that in no way, shape, or form am I telling you to go out here and practice bigotry. But I am telling you to practice a level of judgment to where in which you don't lend your hand to those who really aren't your people. I don't go out of my way to help the stranger. If the stranger asks me for help, I help them, but I don't go out of my way. Nope. 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 That guy that I defended that night, nigga, look real similar to Meech. Can you dig it? Had that guy been little Middle Earth dude, if I even thought he was a Middle Earth dude, I would have totally second guessed the application of energy. And I'm being totally honest. I'm being totally honest with you. Being totally honest. It's the same way I feel about stepping up for anybody that's not really one of my people. You know what I mean? Like stepping up for like, dude, I used to always, this is why, like, you know, like whenever I talk to my boy Ben Judah, I think it's so funny because, you know, like he doesn't know. I used to stand up for people all the time. I used to always find myself, you know, sticking up for like the mixed kid, always the mixed kids, you know, because they get punked the hardest when they're younger until they get bigger and all that shit, you know, or whatever, right? They move or whatever. But I used to always stick up for little mixed kids. And these dudes are always a traitor. Always traitors. Always traitors. Always. They have that traitor mentality where they so badly want to be white. I've never met a mixed person who's never uttered those words like, man, I just wish I was full white. Some of them want to be full black, but even the ones who want to be black have said to themselves, man, if I was just full white, just like I tell niggas all the time, if I was born a white dude, I would be a millionaire. If I had the same mentality that I have right now, the same, all the shit that I'm working with right now, I would be a fucking millionaire. There's no way. But because I'm black, I understand the dynamics, but I don't want to be a white person. You know what I'm saying? They are like, man, I wish I was white. They like really, they're fucking sad that they're not. They're mad at their mom or their dad or whoever chose to sleep out and do some reckless shit, and now they're paying for it. And their parents can say, "Oh, but I love you, but the world don't love me." Damn it! And that's who I have to contend with every day is the world. And these parents have sold their children up the river for a moment of lust, and want you and me to once again hold hands, sing kumbaya. We're all one. We're all the same, and we're not. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I refuse. If I'm the black man, as the black sheep who's all by himself, all on a little island by himself, like that, fine, so be it. Because come the day where everybody's like, holy shit, I wish I hadn't did this. I wish I hadn't did that. I wish I was amongst my people. I wish I wasn't amongst these people. It's too late then. It's too late. It's too late. Niggas get a chick pregnant and be talking about, man, I wish I wore a condom. What? 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 Get the fuck out of here. They're sickening. Sickening. But we're going to end on a lighter note than that. But it's still a real one. I'm not saying I'm about to win my cases, y'all. I'm not saying that, but I got some work done. Yes. But if you can't be proactive, be responsive. Don't react, respond. Can you dig it, sister? If you can't, if there's nothing you can do to prevent the situation, right? Through being properly prepared, the only thing you can do is have a proper response. Come on. And do not react. Come on. But however, you know, that's just me throwing it out there. On that lighter note, that lighter tip, I just need y'all to really just take it in consideration, man, that we can get a lot more accomplished if we just truly, truly, truly pull ourselves away from these people who all want us all to be alike. They all want us all to be alike. We're all not just one big nigga, okay? We're all not. America's not just one big nigga. That's not fair. That's not fair to you. It's not fair to me. Right on? It's not fair to our ancestors who were different peoples, you know, from different regions. That's not fair. It's totally inconceivable that they would give us the background to all these other groups, but yet we have no history outside of this country being slaves. And then before that, they have no real understanding of what people were doing in the so-called continent of Africa. You know, you have to embrace who you are. Embrace it. Embrace it. I keep telling people, it's okay to not be the, it's like so okay to not be the people. All right. The stranger, the stranger, the sojourner, right on. All that stuff. People. It's okay. It's not a big deal. That's a lesser deal than trying to be in a station that you don't fit. Oh, that was what's that lesbian chick's name? 1 second. Because it's at the very end of the video. 1 second. I gotta pull it up. Hey. There we go. Bam. Pause that real quick. Here I go. Okay. No discipline. Carmen Mercedes McRae. That's her name. Carmen Mercedes McRae. Mixed chick. from way back in the day. Known faggot. Won't call her a lesbian. Known faggot. Got no love for him. Got no love for her. Right on? Got no love for any of those type of people who are like that. They're all the devil. And they know they are. And that's the worst part about them, is that because they know, they play their part. See, that's the thing. They play their part. They play their part. They know they're the devil. They're not trying to be an angel. Can you dig it? They might play deceiver, but that's what the devil does. Now, the stranger shouldn't be trying to play the place of the Israelite, and the Israelite shouldn't be trying to play the place of the stranger. That's unhealthy. It's unconducive. It won't get us anywhere. And this is another reason why black people are stuck where they're at, because there are people who are not willing to say that they're not Israelites, and there are people who are not willing to say that they are Israelites. When the two groups finally agree that what I just said is more than correct, through all the things that I've been putting forth about all the black in the world, how different we are genetically, all these different things, maybe then they'll accept that all the stuff I've been saying ain't bullshit. That's the most positive note I can leave on, y'all, is that one day the stranger will realize they're not the Israelite, and the Israelites will realize that they're not strangers. That's it. That's one of the, when you talk about one of the things holding us back, that's one of the things holding us back. And people don't want to be in a position of, I got to be a fucking hero of wood. Oh, that's bullshit. I don't believe in this anymore. Then you never believed in the first place. Because by the Most High distinguishing that these guys are strangers to them, not only are they of a different genetic pattern, but we also know that they're not of people who are normally associated with them. Come on now. Moabites and Ammonites are both a Semitic people, but they're considered strange people to the Israelites, as are the Idumeans, right? The Kittites and the Hivites. These are people. Oh yeah, the little the Transformers, Manbots in disguise. Yeah, but once again, they're not. But they're the devil though. They're wicked from the womb. They're not. They're playing their part, sister. They're playing their part, and they're playing it well. You know what I mean? So I can't be mad because evil is doing its job, if that makes sense. All I can do is I'm glad you made it through that situation with no kind of occurrence, because you know Transformers are sensitive, you know. Yeah, well, I mean, LA, that'll do it. I'm not down in LA. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that'll do it. That'd have been like if you had said Seattle or San Francisco or something like that. Yep, or Atlanta. You know, especially in the ATL where there's a whole bunch of them. You know, there's a whole heap of them in Texas too. A whole heap. But it's okay. They're going to figure out that once again they're playing their part. I'm quite sure that the homosexuals and the I mean, they all claim to be of like a similar ilk, but the homos, the animal lovers, and the Transformers, I'm sure they know what they're doing. Like I'm pretty sure they know. So the only other thing I can say now is that black people have to. It's a must that black people move on and they accept who they are. I can't stress that more than anything. I'm going to leave it and end on that peaceful note. Right on. That black people must first accept their station, and then once they accept their station, they must then embrace their role and do their part. Y'all, it's been a lovely one. I salute you. Good night.